What is going on, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Outside the Arena with Mac and Griff. As you guys saw in the last one, I'm not sure if you're seeing this one or the last one first, but we are doing two fantasy episodes that are being put out today. And one is with Griffin's Fantasy League, break down his teams. And then this is going to be my fantasy league where we break down mine. We just didn't put it together because we thought it was pretty long. I believe it was already like 40 minutes.
Yeah, the other one I think was 45-ish minutes or so. So we want to make sure we got you guys, especially if you're watching the other ones, it's also easier to upload on our end. So partly a little selfish, but yeah.
So I guess with that, we'll just go right into it. Oh, yeah.
I have to let you share the screen real quick. That is my bad. I will let you do that, and you should be good to go now.
Perfect. But yeah, basically we're just going to be going through and breaking down my team and other teams in the league. So we're going to start off with my team. This is my team. I have the 6th pick in an 8-man league. PPR.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to, since this one is not ESPN, so I'm just trying to, how many, oh, wow. Whoa. 8 team, you said? 8 team?
8 teams, yeah.
Okay. Wow, so right off the bat, I'm seeing a lot of star power. Josh Allen is QB.
Yeah.
I think he's a solid option. I'm not sure I love him or if he's in my top, 5-6 guys there, but he's going to be a guy who gets the job done. He'll struggle some weeks, but they added Stephon Diggs, so the production should be there. He's got the weapons to do it. Zeke Elliott, you're a big Cowboys guy. I am surprised this guy fell to. Which pick did you say? You said you had 6, and he fell to 6.
Yeah.
That's really surprising. Definitely a great value pick for that. I think he's in that top 3, top 4 kind of tier, depending on where you stand on Kamara and Dalvin. I think he's in the top 3 though with those guys. I love that pick. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I know in my league's video, I said I would have some words on Clyde. Clyde the Glide, I like to call him. Not Clyde Drexler, but it's Clyde the Glide. I'm just not sold on him as a first, second-round talent quite yet. I think that, he was good in college. He went late first round, last pick in the draft. But I'm just not 100% sold that a running back on this team is going to be able to be worth a first-round pick. I just don't think this team is going to be built now and they're going to switch their offense to something where they run. I think Clyde could be more used for types of checkdowns. I feel like that might be where he gets his value from. But in terms of running the ball, I just don't see him getting 15 to 20, even more than that rushes a game. I feel like 20 would be the cap, and I still think he's not going to be there. So his production-wise worries me. I feel like, if we're going to see, obviously, it's undetermined, but if he is not getting the receptions he needs to be getting, I'm very worried about Clyde Edwards-Helaire as an early talent. But I do think he has great upside, and we don't know how he's going to be used yet. If he is a big, I think he's going to be used in the passing game a decent amount. So if he's getting receptions and getting his touches, I like that option. But overall, the backs are great. I didn't even see you got ridiculous.
If I could piggyback on that real quick.
Yeah.
Clyde thing. So I'm not sure if you all watched episodes a few weeks ago, but we talked a little fantasy, and neither of us were very high on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, mainly because of usage. And basically, I think it may have been 2 weeks ago where my mind changed. I know he obviously has the talent, but my problem was, is he going to be used? And then I'm not sure who exactly said it. It may have been Andy Reid. I could have been wrong. I could be wrong, but he said, Make sure you spend a first-round pick on Clyde. We're going to be using him a lot. And that's immediately when my mind changed. I'm like, okay. So I hear that. Of course, it's not guaranteed, but it's something that's in my mind. I'm like, if they're using him a lot, like they say they're going to be using him, then honestly, I have to take him. And I'm going to just risk it and hope that they live up to that.
Yeah. Kelsey, I love. I have him on my team. I think that's a great pick. And, going back to the backs, now you got Miles Sanders as your flex. That's ridiculous. He was a first, second-round talent in my draft. So the fact that you grabbed all these guys, I'm not really sure who these other people in the league are, but I don't know if they know football or what their deal is, but this is ridiculous so far. I'm seeing Chris Carson, David Johnson on the bench. Like these are start-worthy players on, especially in my league. I know it's eight teams, but I mean, that's kind of crazy. Receivers a little sketchy. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm higher on Odell than AJ Green right now. If I had to bench someone to personally be me, I would bench AJ Green. I'm just not sold on him quite yet. But yeah, that's a solid team. Who's on the rest of your bench? I'm curious. Is it
so,
just the 3 bench or? Okay,
this
so you got AJ Brown too. I mean, and Scary Terry. I don't know how this happened. Whoever else is in this league watching, I mean, I hope your teams are as good as this, but I think it's gonna be hard. I mean, this is ridiculous so far. I mean, your
yeah,
kicker's kind of trash, but
yeah,
who
I know.
cares about that? It's
I
kicker.
make sure
Saints D is a little sketchy.
with my picks, I always depth is way more important than kicker and defense. So I always
Hmm.
make sure my last two picks are kicker and defense because they, depending on who they play, that's basically how they rank up. So how I like to play, and
Yeah.
it only works out for me. I just work the waivers. Whichever team is projected for a good game that week, that's what I roll with. So most likely this week I'm gonna have to switch out the Saints because they're playing Tampa Bay. Just Tampa Bay is gonna have a lot of yards. I could tell, and a lot of touchdowns. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
probably switch out the Saints defense with someone else. But that's how I like to play, and it normally works out in my favor.
No, I like that strat a lot, and I like that team a lot. So I guess
Mhm.
that's your team, and little voice cracker, but yeah, that's a great ball club.
All right,
You got a
let's
great team
go.
there. Is there money in this league? You got a
Yep, this for the winner gets 100.
nice.
So
Well,
this
you got a great chance. I'll tell you that. Oh,
is called
okay.
League
This is
Man.
a solid ball club. Right off the bat, though, it's not near your team. I'll just say that.
Thank you.
But I'll break it down. Mahomes, I like him. He's top 2 for me. I prefer Lamar a little bit, partly because, I got him. I think I'm in 2, 3 leagues this year, and I think I got him in all of them. So I'm loving Lamar a little better. But Mahomes, I had him last year on my main team, my championship team, and I loved Mahomes. I got a jersey upstairs. I'm a big fan. Lev Bell's a guy, I got him on my team that we did in the other video, and I'm a little worried about Lev. They're saying he's getting 60% of the first team reps right now, but I think ultimately he's going to be the starter week 1, and it's just going to see how he plays. And I'm hoping with that improved offensive line, I'm praying myself, and I think it will translate to bigger production from Lev. And he also didn't get too many touchdowns last year, so if he can maybe get in the end zone a little more, that would definitely boost his value. Saquon seems like this guy had the number 2 pick in the draft. You're not going wrong with that pick. Mike Evans, another guy. This guy's team is. I'm seeing some similarities to mine.
Yeah.
I might even be better, honestly. I mean, humble brag, but that's another point. But Mike Evans, good things. It's just we've talked about it a lot, so I won't even go into it too much. But that Tampa Bay offense is going to be clogged. Who's getting what touches? If Evans is getting them, then great. You probably got a wide receiver 1 there. Amari's a guy for me that I'm a little worried about Amari. They drafted CeeDee Lamb. They clearly have intentions of getting him involved in the offense. They have Zeke. They got to get Zeke the ball. I feel like Amari this year is going to be the one that takes a dip. We already saw Gallup really flourishing in that offense, and I think if CeeDee's anywhere close to how he's projected to be, I think Amari's production will go down. But that said, they did sign him that huge extension, so you got to think their plans are still, this guy's our number 1 wideout, and I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm a little worried about the production.
just to cut you off a little bit there, sorry, but so with Amari Cooper, I think he's a player to watch. So obviously he's gonna be the number 1 receiver for the Cowboys this year, my Dallas
Yep.
Cowboys. So he's gonna be getting those number 1 corners and being double teamed and all that, especially with a lot of offensive weapons. But look at him later in the year. I know a lot of people aren't sold on him now, like you are for that reason. But look at him later in the year where a lot of Cowboys fans and even people in the front office think CeeDee Lamb is going to end up being the number 1 receiver about midway through the season. They think that's how good he is. And then Amari Cooper is probably going to slip to that number 2 receiver. But I don't think if he does slip and CeeDee does go to that number and be that number 1 receiver, I think he's going to be playing in the slot with Michael Gallup outside. So just wait.
That'll be interesting to see.
Becomes that number 1 receiver. That's when I think Amari Cooper is going to really pick up. If you have him on your 3rd or 2nd corner, it's game over. I'm sorry, but
That Cowboys offense.
watch him later in the season when he's on those worst corners potentially.
Yeah, and I'll just finally, just to touch up Hooper, I'm not loving this year. I don't think he should be a starting tight end this year, just off the fact of production on that Browns offense. Ridley, he'll be a solid option as a flex this year. Diggs, I like this bench a lot, though. I'll just touch on this guy has a weird thing for tight ends. I don't know why Chris Herndon is on a roster in an 18 league. That seems a little strange to me. And I honestly, this guy must have gone tight end late. I'm not sure who you are, obviously, but I mean, tight end's not for people. Don't go tight end early, and I understand that. But Chris Herndon's a little weird. I like Diggs and Ty and Jarvis, though. That's some great wide receiver depth on your bench. And if a guy goes down, or you got a lot of chances for guys to be great there.
Yeah, in the bye weeks, you're not really taking much of a dip there. I mean,
yeah, honestly, some of those guys on the bench might end up being better than Ridley and Amari a little bit. I don't know, but that's overall, it's it's all right. I'm not liking it as much as yours. If I had to grade it, it's like a per 8 team and maybe a B. I don't know. I got to see these other teams, but that team, I'm not sold completely.
Let's go to Kevin.
Now we're going
hat.
Oh boy,
my boy
Frank.
Oh, I don't know what I did there. Oh. Okay, where's Frank's team? Let's see.
Frankie the Tanky. I'm not loving this ball club off the rip. I mean, I'll go through Russ Wilson. You touched on it in mine. He's a great guy. He's probably third. I have him as probably my third best QB this year. I think he's going to be great. Mark Ingram, get him out of the lineup. I mean, this guy, Mark Ingram, is going to be about a 10-point guy, if not this year. J.K. Dobbins from the Ohio State University is going to be coming in here, and he's going to be ripping that job from Ingram. Ingram's, he's aging. He's getting up there in age. And I think J.K. is going to be a young blood. You already hear John Harbaugh raving about him. A lot of people believe that J.K. is going to end up beating Mark Ingram out for this job. So if I'm a big Frank here, I mean, I don't know if he has J.K. on the bench, but I would stash J.K. on the bench potentially. Hawkins Hawks, you can get him out for some J.K. and at least you have that. But as a running back too, that's a big issue for me in an 8 team. Austin Eckler, I love him. I think this guy's going to be a huge, huge talent this year. I love the catches. I think the receiving backs, and this is PPR, correct? I believe so. Yeah. So he's going to have a great year. He gets all those receptions. He's just got to make sure he stays healthy, which hopefully he will. Mm-hmm. Receivers, also, I do like.
Just something real quick also, forget it, no Melvin Ingram now too. So although Melvin Ingram had his injuries, still Melvin
Gordon.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, same thing. No, I understand you can do
that. Same thing. It's so confusing. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Just him being.
No, exactly.
It's a big difference. I think he may take a step down with Melvin Gordon. Honestly, they are different type of players. Melvin Gordon helps Eckler, and Eckler helps Gordon. So you're going to be missing that factor. But he's not stressing anymore because even when Gordon was still there and not hurt, he was competing for the job. He was fighting for his life.
No, it was a dual backfield, and Eckler got the catches. And I don't know if you remember, but before he stopped holding out, I mean, Eckler was dominating fantasy wise. I mean, him and McCaffrey were 1 and 2. These guys were top tier last year, so I expect a big year out of Eckler. I mean, I don't have much more to say on Eckler in terms of that. Moving on, I guess, unless you have anything else to say about Eckler. No? All right.
Move on.
Michael Thomas, I'm not going to touch on him too much. I mean, he's great. You touched on it, and I agreed in the other video where his production will go down this year just because last year was literally a historic year. I mean, he's not going to be doing that this year. His touchdowns could go up, though. I believe he only had 7 or 8 last year. So you could look for that maybe to offset it, but he'll be a top receiver. He won't be last year, but he's consistent. Adam Thielen's a guy who I think is either going to be a boom or it could be a little bit of a bust. They have some younger receivers, no more Diggs, so he's obviously going to be getting the ball a lot. You expect them to be probably run heavy, though, with Dalvin. But I think Thielen's going to get the ball a lot. It's just, will he be healthy? He suffered with some injuries last year. But when healthy, he's proven to be great. He is aging, which is another reason why I'm a little concerned. I think he's in his age 30 season, I believe. But overall, I like that pick a little bit. Darren Waller, I'll rephrase that. I like the pick of Thielen, just there is some risk. Mm-hmm. Darren Waller, he's good. I like Darren Waller. I had him high on my board, probably as, after, the top two, Kelsey, Kittle, and then you kind of have your Ertz, Andrews. And I feel like Darren Waller's in that group with them. He's a guy I was planning to target. Kelsey fell to me on the board. So I went Kelsey, obviously. But Darren Waller's a guy I love. I think he's in for a big breakout year. I know you feel the same exact way. So if you didn't have Kelsey, I'm sure you'd have Darren Waller on your team, in all honesty. Moving on to flex, DK, that's not a bad flex, honestly. I mean, it's not – your flex is Miles Sanders, which, I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't know how the hell that happened.
Yeah.
But DK, he's a solid flex. He'll have a big year. Russ Willis loves him. He's going to get them the ball. Did just bring back Josh Gordon, but Josh Gordon didn't do too much in that offense last year, but he should be good. And the bench is worrisome for Frank. I'm going to be honest. Aaron Rodgers, I don't love as a fantasy QB just because he's really one-dimensional with the football, and he hasn't proven to be amazing. Rykel Armstead, it's everyone's going to have him in the league just off the hope that he becomes, a big back and gets a lot of production. Kareem Hunt's a rosterable guy. He's going to get a lot of receptions. We don't know. Maybe he has a bigger part in the run game than we realize. Probably not with Chubb there, though. Receivers, I'm worried. I mean, already your flex is already DK, and your next best guys are Tyler Boyd and Will Fuller. Those guys seem to be a little risky. I mean, Will Fuller's got pretty big upside. Boyd, I'm not sold on.
Yep.
I'm not sure why Hawkinson's on a roster here, as well as Herndon from the last team. It seems like he went special teams clearly. Maybe focused on that maybe a little too soon, though, with Tucker and Niners D. I don't know if I'm right, but
I think they were taken early. I'm not sure if it'll show on here. I don't think it is showing, but I think I could be wrong. Do you see anything that shows where it would be?
I'm not seeing.
Yeah, but I do. I think he was taken. That was taken early.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
I'll have good special teams, but
yeah.
Overall, it's the second team so far. I think the last one's worse, but this one, there's a lot of worry. I just thought about Mark Ingram being the running back too, and then seeing, there's some question marks there. So I mean, a little scary. I mean, I still don't understand how you pulled off Miles Sanders, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Zeke Elliott. Who are your receivers? Your receivers were meh. David Johnson, Chris. That's ridiculous, my man.
Yeah.
I'm liking this team has got the sauce.
I've been getting lucky, though, with my running backs, though, because, like, these kids, you could probably tell by now, they're receiver heavy. I'm running back heavy.
They are receiver heavy. I mean, yeah. Jeez, there's an obsession with some backup tight ends here. All right. Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's a great guy. There was a rumor that he's not going to get Mahomes money, so you never know if that could lead to a contract issue. That just broke today. But if he's playing, he's going to be good. Hopkins out-worries me, but they did bring in Cooks to offset it, so I think he'll be good. I don't know if he's going to be – some people have him as a third quarterback, which I think is a stretch. Gurley, I'm huge on this year. I think if healthy, he's going to be a top 10 back this year. I truly believe that. He gets – we've seen him. He gets the scores. He has the talent. He won Offensive Player of the Year, I believe, just a year or two ago. So he's a great talent. It's just about the injuries for him. Kamara, if he's there, I feel like, he will be a solid pick. I'm still would rather have, guys in the first. I'm sure he probably went before Zeke, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Which is kind of ridiculous to me because I just don't think he is that, and he's a question mark. And first round pick, you want someone who's not a question mark, and I don't think Zeke's a question mark. I think you know what you're getting. I guess you have Pollard, but I mean Zeke's getting the ball there, that. But Kamara will be good. He'll be your RB1 and he'll be solid. Who's this? What's this guy's name? In case I want to reference.
Dolan. Danny.
Daddy Danny. All right.
I don't know who it is actually.
Really? You don't know this person?
Nope.
Sarando? Okay.
Yeah, I think he's the manager's friend. So.
Okay.
As long as
Tyreek Hill.
As long as he's paying up to me when I win, then I don't have a problem.
Exactly. When you win. Exactly. Reek, pretty solid receiver. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Reek. He'll get his points. Kelsey and Helaire, they're obviously there. That rhymes with Helaire. But he's good. Reek's good. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. It's a little late when we're recording this, but it's okay. Chris Godwin, he's good. I think he's going to be better than Evans. I mean, no one really knows.
Yeah.
Honestly, like Matt Barry can be like, I'm loving God. We have no clue who Tom Brady's loving, and that's really all that matters. But he should get some good receptions, and he'll be chilling with Godwin, especially as your wide receiver too. Mark Andrews, pretty solid pickup. I think he'll be a top tight end this year. Some people have him 4. I personally prefer Waller. Waller might even be 3 for me. But I think Mark Andrews will get some production. Hurst isn't there too now, so it's not as clogged there. Maybe more looks for Marky Mark, and Keenan's a solid guy. They got Tyrod there. We'll see how he does. But yeah, Keenan should be a pretty solid option. I'll take a quick peek at the bench if you don't have anything to say, which I don't know if oh God, I already see 2 defenses. So what is this guy doing? All right, Mike Gesicki, solid tight end, probably should be on the waiver wire though. I'm not huge on 2 tight ends really, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
Sterling Shepard, Marquise Brown I like.
Yeah, me too.
You do have Mark Andrews though, so don't clog yourself too much. Cam Akers, probably the best player on your bench here. Got pretty high upside. This guy must be a Saints fan. Breeze Lutz, Mike. Did he have Michael? No, he didn't have Michael Thomas. And do you have Kamara?
Yeah.
That might be a Saints fan. And he has. Oh no! Why are you starting Chargers deep? All right, that's confusion. If you're watching this, Danny or whatever your name is, don't know why you have 2 defenses. The Steelers, these can be good this year, but yeah, I'm not really sure what.
They would definitely be a good
defense,
at. But Derwin James, that's a huge loss. I mean, they haven't had him the past for. He's been very interesting.
It is. That's He's
really
hasn't been able to stay healthy. I don't know why you have 2 defenses. I mean, you just don't do that. It's an unwritten rule in fantasy football.
Just get rid of that Chargers defense, and you're looking mighty fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, looking all right. I wouldn't say mighty fine. I would say probably a little worse than the last one. Maybe a little better than the second one. I kind of forget what that one was at this point, but it's solid. I like this team. It's solid ball club. I think this is the second best team. The bench is a little shaky though.
Yeah, I just want to quickly say I love these 2 players right here, Marquise Brown, Cam Akers. Yeah. If you guys watched the previous episode with Griffin's League, you heard me talk about it and Griffin talk about it. Cam Akers, I love his build. I love how he plays. I think he's going into a really good Rams team with a really good offensive line. The question is, could that offensive line stay healthy? They haven't been able to last year. I'm not sure the exact number, but they had I feel like almost every week it was a new configuration of offensive linemen they had due to injuries. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Marquise Brown quickly touched upon that. Adding 20 pounds in weight. He was obviously very skinny last year. That was obviously, it looked like his main problem. Adding that 20 pounds of weight in muscle. So he's stronger, so he should be better red zone and more physical. As well as he claims he's keeping the same speed. I don't know how that's possible, but if that is true,
who knows?
That is scary. It is. So
I'm liking that though for Mr. Lamar in my league. I mean,
yes, sir.
I'm down for that. But overall, solid ball club there, Mr. Dolan. Dak over Mahomes. Interesting.
That's my boy, Dak over Mahomes. Anthony Tags. My boy, my fellow Cowboys fan.
Oh, interesting.
The team.
Right off the bat, first thing that catches my eye is that flex is a little scary in an 8-team Devin Singletary compared to your guy, which is Miles Sanders. Did Miles Sanders fall in this draft?
I believe so. I believe he was my 3rd pick. I think I went 3 straight running backs.
I mean, Devin Singletary worries me a little bit as your flex, and it looks like Ronald, James White. I mean, the bench is a little inconsistent. But that's besides the point. Let's get into the nitty-gritty with this ball club, which is Lamar Jackson, clearly probably the 1st or 2nd quarterback taken, depending on if the other person liked Mahomes better. Love Lamar. I mean, I've talked about it in previous videos. I talked about it in my video. I love Lamar as my QB. I'm super excited to have him. And I think Anthony is his name, I believe. Anthony, if you're watching this, get pumped because Lamar is in for a big year, baby. He's going to take us hopefully both to the chip. I do not think you will beat Mac, but he'll take you to the chip maybe. James Conner, injury riddled back. Obviously has a great story. That's besides the point of this right now. Crowded backfield a little bit. There's guys like Jalen Samuels. There's other guys, I forget their names, but they're there. They're getting receptions. I'm a little worried that his receiving volume is not going to be there. if he's splitting touches in some sort of committee, it worries me a little bit. But the upside is huge for James Conner. I think if he can get to that year where he once had, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, you got a great back. Aaron Jones, I like Aaron Jones. The second-round pick, I feel like we touched on this earlier, maybe not,
Yeah.
of A.J. Dillon, I believe, right? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Jamal Williams will be there. So clearly they've got some sort of plan to bring these other guys in. So expect Aaron Jones's numbers to dip a little bit. I know Max said that as well, and I agree. I don't think he'll produce like he did last year as, a top 5 back. I think he'll be more in the bottom 5. I'm not so sure, but overall production for Aaron Jones, it will be good. Julio, he's got to get the touchdowns up. I mean, that's been his kind of key. You touched on that earlier, I know, so I'm not going to go too in depth, but he's a solid pick. Lockett's a good guy. I mean, he's always kind of consistent with fantasy, I feel like he's always been a solid option, never the number 1 receiver you want, but he's there. George Kittle, number 2 tight end on my board, he's solid. And then I touched on Singletary earlier. Let's take a peek at his bench. You have anything to say on the starting lineup, though?
Starting lineup, just with the Aaron Jones thing, once again, if you guys aren't checking out the other episode, which you guys better do.
You better be liking it and commenting and subscribe if you are already not subscribed for more of these fantasy videos. Real quick, I'll touch on a point. Sorry to interrupt, but if you are watching and you're in a league out there and you want us to rank all the teams in your league, just DM us, send us pictures and stuff like that, and we'd be happy to do that. We think we really love this idea of a segment for this fantasy stuff, and we are working on getting some fantasy experts. I know we have 2 that will be on in the near future for sure. Just working out timing with these guys.
And then I have some for when the season's over too.
Exactly.
Also, just to make sure you guys are on the same page with us, drop if you guys want your fantasy football teams and like the whole league ranked. Drop your Instagrams in the comments as well as following us on Instagram. You can go to my Instagram, that's mac.rommel. You can go to Griffin's, I believe it's Griff and Mac, right?
Griff and Mac, yeah, just my name.
And then, or this is probably the best place we'll see it easier, Outside the Arena podcast on Instagram.
Yep.
But I think also a good way, just drop your Instagrams in the comments, and then we'll reach out to you guys, and we'd love to maybe even have you guys.
We'd love to do it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, we can have we'd definitely be down to bring some other people on. So if you're watching this, and you want to, we'll probably post about it too on our Instagrams, I'm sure, because I love doing this. Yeah, just drop a comment, DM us. If you have our personal stuff, you can text us too. So yeah.
So real quick with the Aaron Jones thing, not only is their backfield kind of crowded now, we've also seen the team talk about how they're not just relying on Aaron Jones this year. They want to split it up between all the backs, which I don't know how smart it is. I mean, it's probably smart for the team, realistically, trying to figure out and find new ways to win with players that teams may not be as familiar with, like A.J. Dillon, obviously.
Yeah.
Not sure how he's going to play or be used, so that's obviously why they want to get him incorporated. And that's kind of the reason why I feel Aaron Jones had a lot of success last year, because no one really knew how he would be used. So I kind of feel like they're going for the same kind of thing with A.J. Dillon, just they're going to want to incorporate both backs into their scheme.
One thing I will mention on Aaron Jones before we move on to the bench is that he's on a contract here, so he will have motivation, and I think that might also be the reason. Maybe they liked A.J. Dillon, and they don't want to pay the big money for Aaron Jones. So next year, maybe we'll see A.J. take a bigger role. Moving on to the bench, Matt Ryan's a good backup quarterback. I'm not going to hate on him. Yeah, it's a good guy to have. If you can hear my parents yelling, I apologize. The New York Mets are playing baseball, and that's always a stressful time. So apologize for that one. Sorry.
The Yankees too. Now that you're saying that, like the Yankees,
Mets, it's a little rivalry going on in the neighborhood. So if you can hear that yelling, I apologize. But moving back to the team, Ronald Jones, James White, you better hope your backs don't get injured, because those guys are kind of question marks. I mean, James White's like a 10-point guy, but that was with Brady. I mean, we'll see what he does with Cam. Edelman, Gallup, Marvin. I like Marvin and Gallup here. I think Edelman will be good. It's just we don't know how much Cam loves him, what their plan is with Edelman this year, and he is getting up there. I think he's like 34 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, that's all I kind of got. Hopefully this guy doesn't have 2 defenses, which I don't believe he does because I see 6 bench players. So good job, Anthony, on not taking 2 defenses. Way to go, my man.
Robbie Gold and Chicago Bears defense. Chicago Bears defense going to help you. I know they're getting a lot of turnovers this year, so I'll be excited for that.
Yeah.
Hey,
solid ball club there. I think I'm liking that team. I think it's not your level because it's just not. But
all right, before we switch it off, let's give it a quick little grade. What do you think it's looking like for a grade?
This one on a grade, I'd give it A- A-/B+. I'm going here. I think it would be a straight A- if there was just better depth. I think I'm not loving the depth on this ball club, but it could lean B+, A- too. But I like the team, so I'm not going to hate on it.
And this is my week 1 matchup.
Week 1, we got Ben, and I can tell you, Mac, you're going to be taking a fat W against this boy. Oh, baby. So Kyler Murray, who's he play week 1? Can I just see the projections? San Fran. So that's going to be a scary week 1 for Mr. Kyler. Great defense. O-line for the Cardinals still not there. I think Kyler's going to be there. Great fantasy-wise this year, though. But for week 1, big boy Ben, you might be screwed with Kyler. Leonard Fournette in the starting lineup. We're just going to pause right there. You might want to remove him. Was your draft might have been before he got released, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. So that is unfortunate for you. Week 1 starting him is a risk if he plays just off who knows what his role is going to be. Dalvin Cook, love the pick. I had him last year. I think he's a great talent and that he will be great again, once again. Devontae Adams, really not much more to say. Number 1 weapon, really the only wide receiver weapon on that Packers team. He'll see the ball a lot. I mean, I'm not going to go in much with those guys. Kenny Golladay, he's a great guy. You know, him and Marvin Jones both, I feel like, are going to, they get their games. And I don't know if they're both super consistent. Like, you don't want to expect them to get 15 or 16 or more than that, like the other guys. But, Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones are guys that, they will have those like 40-point games occasionally, which is pretty awesome. Golladay probably more than Marvin Jones, but I think Golladay is a solid player as wide receiver too. I do like him. And as you can see, he goes off some games. I mean, 25, you see the inconsistency there, 28, 23, 23, 25. I mean, he's inconsistent, but when he's good, I mean, he's good.
Yeah, very good pick there, I'd say. Win you some games when he goes off, and we know he's gonna go off eventually. Except maybe not week 1.
Maybe not. The week 1 matchups are a little fishy right now. Evan Engram against Pittsburgh. For week 1, I'm a little worried, but overall, Evan Engram, as long as he stays healthy this season, should be a great tight end. I think he's the second. He honestly might be the best receiving option on that ball club. They do have Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate. I'm not sold on those guys. Darius Slayton as well, you see on this ball club. This guy might be a Giants fan, I'm assuming, if Darius Slayton's on this team, but who knows? Juju at the flex, I really like. I think if you're Juju at your flex, you're in a good spot with receiver there. So I like that pick.
All right, let's see how you feel about the bench.
Cortland Sutton's on the bench. Oh baby, I mean that's a great pick. I also love Cortland Sutton. You might want to honestly go get some trade value for him. Your backs, who was his RB2 again? Just so I can get a little refresher.
Fournette.
Leonard Fournette. Yeah, you're definitely going to want to go use Cortland Sutton if he is your fourth favorite receiver right now to go get some running back help because you can't start 4 receivers, unfortunately. So it's not of as much use to have Cortland riding or one of those guys riding the bench rather than having a great running back. And your running backs, I hate to say it, but they're risky with Tariq and Carry-On. You don't know what those guys' roles are going to be. They're kind of like we have no clue with Carry-On, but Tariq's always been like a 10-point guy, which is what he's projected, I see. So not a guy you want to have to start. And it sucks that you got screwed with Fournette. I really feel sorry for you. Luckily, my league, we did it after Fournette released, but before he signed with the Bucks. So Joey in the league, shout out Joey, got screwed with Ronald Jones, but he's apparently still the number 1. Who knows? But yeah, bottom line of the bench, trade Cortland Sutton or a receiver and get a solid running back. And Greg Zuerlein and 2 defenses. I don't know what the deal is in this league with 2 defenses. clearly must be maybe picking up Eagles D for the week against Washington. He feels good about that, and he needs some points against you. But, I mean, when you're that weak at running back, you should have two defenses. Overall, probably B for this ball club. I just don't think it's stud worthy. Great receivers though, and Dalvin Cook as well, and Devontae. So, but there's definitely some big question marks. Probably a B, and hopefully you can get it up to a B plus with a trade.
While we're switching over to the next team quickly with Tariq Cohen, I'm not sure if you guys have him in your leagues who's watching, but David Montgomery is there too, and I think he's going to work his way into the starting role. So just to put that
I agree.
Be wary of that. So now we have Wakituum, John.
Is this the last team, or do we have one more after this?
I believe we have one, maybe two more. I wasn't really looking, but definitely at least one more.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so I'm already seeing.
Let me go to projections real quick, just to be.
That this team,
it's good.
Jonathan Taylor in there. Okay, well, I'll touch on this. I mean, I'm seeing Kenyon Drake on the bench right now, and Jonathan Taylor in the starting lineup. Must be some sort of matchup-wise. You should flip that, though, because Jonathan Taylor is too much of a risk week one for me to take. You don't know his role. He could break out, but what if he also gets 5 touches for 10 yards and you get a point there? So Kenyon will do better. And even if Jonathan Taylor goes off, I mean, it's a risk, but who knows? Carson Wentz, he's a good fantasy quarterback. I'm not sold on him. I don't think he's in that top 3 tiers. I wouldn't put him in. I kind of have him in my 4th tier of quarterbacks. But solid. Derrick Henry, you know what you're getting with him. A guy who's getting the ball a lot. Maybe not the best guy receiving-wise, but I like Derrick Henry. Jonathan Taylor, I just touched on that. He could break out for you, and that could be huge. Receivers, Hopkins, this is a solid ball club, I'm realizing. You got DeAndre Hopkins, who I really like. I think he's going to have a good year in Arizona. You do have him and Kenyon, which is a little conflicting, but at the same time, I mean, those are both great talents. They both are going to have to get the ball, so I'm not complaining about that.
Oh, yeah.
Cooper Kupp, I mean, you can go. Yeah.
Real quick, we kind of just breezed over it. I didn't realize. I'm not sure if you realized and didn't say it, but I feel like we forgot about Larry Fitz and Christian Kirk.
I know they are there.
We completely forgot.
I did realize that, but the ball's got to go a lot of places. But I mean, the one thing is D-Hop will get the ball. I mean, he's not going to get the ball. He's a superstar talent that they traded. I mean, not so much for because they got a fantastic deal, but I mean, you're still getting him the ball. But yes, there are a lot of options there. But that could play into his favor. Who knows? Maybe he won't get guarded as much. Cooper Kupp, we touched on him earlier in the video of recapping my league. You're not huge on him. I'm not huge on him either. He's had some injury troubles. When he's in there, he's good, but it's kind of inconsistency with the Rams receivers. I mean, one game will get 25, and then the next game you'll get 4. So Cooper Kupp was great last year. If you can reciprocate that, fantastic for Cooper Kupp owners and this guy. Hunter Henry, he's good when he was healthy. I do feel like he will have a little drop-off from where he came from last year, but I think he's a solid tight end. And at tight end, you want someone who's going to probably put up some good points, and I think Hunter Henry will put up some solid points. And he has a pretty good upside. I don't really think there's too much downside to Hunter Henry because he will get the ball. So I like that pick. Mixon as a flex, I'm big on Joe Mixon right now. I'm maybe even trying to acquire him currently. I like the idea that, you touched on it earlier, I know, where, they've got weapons now. They've got a little bit of improved O-line. They got a quarterback. So the focus won't be just on containing Mixon, and they also extended him to a big deal. So clearly he's big in their plans. I'm big on Mixon this year.
Before you go into this bench, I just want to say, you see the names. I think it's the best bench so far, and we haven't even talked about it. I just want to put that out there real quick.
Yeah. I think this team's a great team. I mean, I'm just going to say that now. Melvin Gordon, I'm not sold on just off the fact that Philip Lindsay is there. I have no clue what they're going to do. So I'm not buying high or selling on either of those guys. But I am staying. Personally, in my leagues and stuff like that, I'm staying away from those two guys. Mostert's got great upside. I don't really think there's too much downside with him, just off the fact that, he could be bad, but he could be really good. We don't know how they're going to use him. They do have a committee there, which is a little alarming. DJ Chark, he's a great weapon. And if one of your guys goes down and you can plug in DJ Chark or even Devontae Parker, who I have on my team that we did in the other league, and I love Devontae Parker. I think he's in for a breakout year again. So either of those guys, I think, are two great wideouts on the bench. And I love this guy not having a tight end and being smart. Deebo Samuel, when he comes back, will probably be the number one receiver. So good pick there. Jake Elliott is the kicker. It's kicker, whatever. Vikings, I'm not feeling that one so much. But they did just acquire Yannick Ngakoue. We didn't touch on that on the podcast. Good trade by them. They're definitely going all in. So I like that move.
Yeah, and definitely it's going to help with interceptions too, because obviously when you're rushing the passer, it gives less time for the quarterback to throw, more sloppy throws, and you're pairing him with Danielle Hunter. Obviously, could be putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So definitely look at those interceptions going up for them.
I think that's a top team, though. That might be, in talent-wise, it could be close to yours a little bit.
This is the last team, so let's make it worth it. Risky biscuit.
All right, I'll go. Oh,
this is my boy James.
Entry into potentially the best. Oh, okay. I might be having a new favorite team here.
Oh no, good team.
In fact, I think I do have a new favorite team here. All right.
Really good team.
Well, Dak Prescott. I'm gonna break this one down because I love this one, and it's also the last one, and we need to get the view hours up. So I'll break this one down for you. Dak Prescott, I'm loving it. I mean, you touched on in your video, he's got the wideouts. He's going to be passing the ball a lot. He's not a scrambler, so you won't get the rushing yards like you do with Lamar Jackson. But he's going to get some great points. He'll be a 20-plus point guy every week. Christian McCaffrey, I mean, I could talk about him for days. He won me my league last year. I have him again this year. I love him. I got my jersey upstairs. You know, I have a man crush on him. I'll be honest. I mean, he's a great-looking young man.
Now. I'm surprised.
I got jerseys on my boys, man. And when they win me the chip, I gotta show support.
You got your Mahomes.
Yeah, I love McCaffrey, dude. I have a man crush on him, honestly. I mean, he's doing great. He's dating a supermodel. I mean, he's a beast. I'm hoping. You know, it is hard to be the number one running back in fantasy back-to-back years. I don't know if it's happened for a bit, but I think Christian's the guy who could do it. Here's where I'm gonna get a little stop the brakes on this being the best team. Nick Chubb. We talked about in I think the other video a little bit, but Nick Chubb scares me a lot. I mean, he is a guy for me where I have him listed in my rankings as my RB14 or RB15. He's a guy that I've tried to stay away from, but I like him as like a flex or RB2 in some cases. I just think with Kareem Hunt there, he's not going to be getting the catches that he did. His production definitely dipped when Kareem Hunt came back and was healthy and not suspended, obviously, for his off-the-field actions with the Browns. So Chubb worries me. I feel like he's going to be a touchdown-dependent kind of guy that you need to be in the end zone if you're going to see 15-plus from him, which is what you're kind of hoping for. The projections are low this week, obviously, against Baltimore. Chubb scares me, though. I mean, I'm a little worried for Nick Chubb this year. I know you feel a little same. We've talked about the committee thing with multiple teams this year.
Yeah. So now you're seeing them.
Allen Robinson, DJ Moore, not the top receivers. You don't have a top guy, but Allen Robinson and DJ Moore both. I mean, they're in that tier of good talent. But I will say, Allen Robinson, I think will have his success this year. They still really don't. They have a lot of tight ends, which is kind of interesting. But I don't think they really have too many options on that offense to go to, except for A-Rob. So big year again for A-Rob. DJ Moore, I'll get into. We didn't really cover him at all in the other episode, so I want to talk about him briefly. I'm not sold on DJ Moore this year. I think with the addition of Robbie Anderson, I just feel like that's more receptions going to someone else. They still have Curtis Samuel. They obviously did lose Greg Olsen to free agency this year. I'm not 100% sure if they brought in someone. I don't know if they did to replace Greg. So we'll see the targets go down to Greg. Maybe they can go to Robbie. But they obviously still have Christian McCaffrey, who he has as well, which I don't love. I don't love having two core players from the same team on running back receiver-wise. I just don't know if it's necessarily the smartest thing you can do. You want to maximize your chances on one team. But DJ Moore, you know, he'll be a solid guy. I'm just not buying into him as a third-round selection, probably. I'd probably wait till the fourth round. He does have some upside, though. What do you think about DJ Moore, Mac?
They added Teddy Bridgewater, so that's obviously gonna just help the whole team, the whole offense. But I do agree with you with Curtis Samuel there and Christian McCaffrey, who's going to be getting a lot of catches in the pass game. He's gonna have a slower year this year,
Yeah.
although his fantasy points may drop. How he plays in real life, I know we're talking about fantasy, not real life. I think he's
Yeah.
improving as a receiver, and I think that his targets may not be as good, may not get as many catches, but I think with a better quarterback, I think Teddy Bridgewater is much better than Kyle Allen. I think
Yes, for sure.
his yards per catch is definitely going to go up, but I think overall
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
it's going to go down.
I agree with that. I think that's definitely a fair assessment. I think he's still going to have good games and, solid year, but I'm not sure I would have gone him, especially with McCaffrey, but I don't know how the board fell. Ertz, I won't go into too much. I think he's the third or fourth best tight end. And with that offense, still being weak, there is enough room for him to get the ball, even with Goddard there. So he'll be good. Josh Jacobs as a flex. I mean, I love that pick. I think he'll be better than Chubb for me this year for sure. Oh, lamp went on behind. That's it's getting late here. I don't think that's ever happened in the episode. There's always first. These fantasy ones, I'll tell you, there's a lot of outside the arena first here, but we're powering through, getting the content out. Josh Jacobs, I love. We touched on him earlier. I think the Raiders. I love what they're doing in Vegas. I think Josh Jacobs is in for a big year. Carolina, week 1, gonna be pounding the run. I'm seeing a 20-plus point game for Mr. Jacobs week 1. I'm calling that now for whoever this team is. Have a nice week for Mr. Jacobs.
I'm gonna have to combat you there. 20 is a little much. I don't even know. I like him as a player, but week 1, I think he's barely even gonna get 10. I think he's barely gonna even get 10.
Right, he's putting up 2 touchdowns, 4 catches, 4 catches for like 30 yards. That gets him 7. We'll give him a receiving touchdown. That's already 13. Give him 70 yards. That's 20, and he's gonna get another rushing touchdown. I think he could be hitting 26 this week. 100 yards from scrimmage, 4 catches, 2 tutties.
So you're not going to acknowledge the fact of what the Panthers did in the draft this year? All picks on defense, Derek Brown, 2 in the middle of that D-line. That is money.
They lost James Bradbury. It's still – those are rookies. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to buy into all – I think Derek Brown's a good player. The rest of the rookies, I mean, they're talented for sure, but who knows what they'll be. I mean, you can't say that these guys are going to be superstars shutting down Mr. Jacobs. I mean, we know Josh is talented.
That D-line is major. I think it's better than last year. They had Jared McCoy and Dontari Poe up there in the front. And now you got Derek Brown and your Tur Gross-Matos. That's going to slow down Josh Jacobs. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm not sold. I'm not sold on that Panthers defense. I think Panthers are going to have a rough time. Christian's, the big boy. I think they should go on Isaiah Simmons. I really do. Derek Brown, he'll be great. The rest of the guys, I mean, some of them will probably be great, and some will not be so great.
Yeah.
We'll go to the bench now.
Yep.
If you don't have anything else to add. Okay, there's some spicy picks here. The running back wise, you've got your main 3, luckily, in the lineup. The rest are kind of garbage. They're kind of guys who are in committees or who are just not a clear-cut lead back, which I understand. I mean, when you draft, and clearly he in the later rounds might have looked at guys like Brandon Cooks, John Brown, which I love, and I'll get into Brandon Cooks specifically in a minute.
Yeah.
But Jordan Howard, Marlon Mack, David Montgomery, I mean, if you need these guys for a week in there, it could be good. And they could also, be better, have bigger roles than we expect. We don't know. So I'm not saying they're bad picks. I'm not saying they're good picks, though. Brady, I think, will be a solid fantasy backup this year. Obviously, he has Zach as his quarterback.
I'm sorry?
Who's his quarterback? Dak, right? I believe.
Oh yes.
Or is that the last guy?
I thought you were
Dak,
saying
okay.
Tom. I thought you were talking about Tom Brady's backup. I'm like, what?
No.
I'm like, what the heck?
Definitely pick up the Bucks backup QB, guys. That's who I'm taking this year.
I was lost there.
No, Dak is his. Dak is. Jesus, it's getting a little late for outside the arena. I mean, at this point,
it's 8.
This is the latest we've recorded this. It's 8:10 for outside the arena. That's something new, but we're almost there. We're gonna finish. Tom Brady will be good. He's got Dak, so he only should need to switch that up for a week. Brandon Cooks, John Brown, I like. Yeah, I had him last year. Pretty good. Diggs will reduce his role a little bit. Brandon Cooks, he has potential for a breakout year. I think he could see Hopkins level production potentially. Will Fuller's hurt all the time. And when Brandon Cooks fell to me on my board at the right time, I was so happy to get this guy. I think he's talented. I mean, he has been known as a talented guy. He's kind of gotten traded all over the place, which is a little surprising. Will he stay on the field is the one thing. He had a concussion issue last year. And if he does, and Will Fuller's injured, I mean, who else are they going to give the ball to? The running back, David Johnson, we're not sure. I mean, Deshaun Watson, he's going to need a number one. And if he finds some good connections with Brandon Cooks, I think this guy has wide receiver one upside. My big player of the year, not just because I have him. I love Brandon Cooks this year. I think he will be in your starting lineup at the end of the year.
I'm positive I don't have him in any league this year, but the reason I really don't have a reason I don't have him, but every time I see him on the board in round 14, 15, somehow making it that
If he's there in 14 or 15, you should be snagging him. I'm sorry.
I still don't take him, but I love him as a player. I just like focusing in the later rounds on other things, other players that I like as sleepers. But Brandon Cooks, literally every team that gets him late rounds such as that, they're getting a steal. I know he's definitely their number one receiver for the year. And then he's going to have a really good year. I kind of do regret not having him as a receiver, but
I think he's in for a big year. And if you didn't watch the other video, my receivers, there is a little Brandon Cooks, if he has a great year, that would help my team a lot. And I think, I don't think I was taking a risk with where I got him. So, I'm super happy to have Brandon Cooks. Special teams wise, I mean, this guy looks like he knocked everything out of the park, and he has great special teams. Ravens D and Butker. I mean, I'm loving this. This team for me is the one. This and your team, and maybe the last team I think I like too. Seems like the Mets just hit a walk off.
Don't worry about that. No, they're showing support for the podcast. That's what they're doing. They're watching.
The Mets hit a walk-off. Okay. Sorry about that to everyone watching.
Walk it to them.
Pete Alonso with a 2-run walk-off shot to all you baseball fans out there. Day after Tom Seaver dies. Rest in peace, Tom Seaver. Big Mets win in the 10th inning. It looks like they got the dub. My heart kind of shook there. I thought someone was dying in the kitchen. But, yeah.
So is this team other one you liked?
I did like this one. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's on the level of the other one though. So I'm gonna stick with my idea and say your team, and then the last team we just showed are the top two teams here. And honestly, we both drafted pretty well. I think your team might be. Can I see your team one more time? You just share the screen one more time. I just want to
back up.
Oh my God, I'm about to have a heart attack, dude. Jesus.
Scary.
It is scary times in this household. It's too late for the. With school starting, these episodes are going to be filmed at times like this. So outside the arenas, it's becoming wild.
Today was the longest day of my life at school. I've never had a harder day at school in my life. I don't
Senior year for you, man.
Out here.
Crazy.
Senior year, I already hate my school. I'm putting that out there. I hate it with all my heart. And then this COVID stuff, nobody's even following the dang rules in my school. It's so poorly run. It's so stressful. And then we're putting out these late episodes. We're having some fun here, so that kind of makes up for it.
Exactly. These episodes are definitely going to be fun to watch, I think. I mean, we've been recording now for 2 hours. So,
yeah.
I mean, if you guys really don't think, we put in a lot of work for this stuff. We love doing it, though. And we hope you're enjoying watching. If anyone is still watching at this point, comment your favorite fantasy player right now if you're still watching at this point. And, we'll appreciate that. If you're still watching, you're a rock star. But yeah, your team is. I love your team.
I love yours.
Honestly, the other one, I might like the other one a little better. I'm not even gonna lie, but running back wise, you're ridiculous. Yeah. I think receiver wise, maybe you could package a Carson and an AJ Brown and get a stud receiver or something like that. Maybe that'd be my only advice potentially to you for what you could do. But I like your team. Your backs are ridiculous. And you also have Travis Kelce. And what's not to like about Travis Kelce? So thank you. And Terry and CD. Yeah, you're betting high on CD. I like your team a lot, man. I think your bench is probably one of the best in the league. And I'm loving your starters. And, yeah, that's all I got for your league. I got you, Mac, and forget the last kid's name, but You guys got solid squads.
Yeah, before I end it here, I just got to say, I think your team is definitely better than mine. I don't know how that's possible, though, because you're in a 12-man. But I guess those trades saved you getting all those third-round picks. I don't.
Yeah.
I think that's what I got to do next year, and then just stack them on
I'll
thirds.
pull it up real quick. I will.
It's
For
working.
those who haven't watched the other video, I will just screen share real quick and just show briefly the team he is referring to. You can obviously go check out the other video. This is not my team.
And you better watch the other video. Don't actually force them. That's how it works.
Like, you have to watch the other video right now if you haven't. This is my ball club that I'm rolling with in this 10 team this year. Really happy with how the draft went. We did some trading, obviously, as Mac touched on, with picks. So I had the first pick in the draft, and then I picked 21, 25, and 29. And yeah, it worked out pretty well for me. My depth is lacking, but I am betting on Brandon Cooks, like I said. I mean, look at this man. What's not to like, man? I mean, look at him. I mean, we can talk about what Matt Barry's going to say, but we don't have to listen to Matt Barry. I mean,
you focus on yourself. Your own mind.
Exactly.
And just a quick little, we're not getting paid to say this. Well, I'm not getting paid to say this, but I love Fantasy Pros rankings. So go check them out. I don't know if you guys agree. Always check the ranking and see if you agree before you use them. But those are the rankings I like to use. So just want to say that real quick. I don't know if you have any rankings you like to shout out.
I mean, I kind of dabble with a lot of things. I'll watch various guys. But I kind of got my own things that I think for myself, and I kind of just look at sheets and who I like and stuff like that. I mean, I agree though. I've used Fantasy Pros, and they know what they're doing over there for at least player rankings. I think I've seen some sketchy team rankings to start the year in terms of said my team was like 4th or 5th or 6th best in the league, which I just don't agree with. But that's my belief, and yeah, I mean that's all I got. Mac, I think you're in for a big year in your league. That's all I got to say.
Thank you so much. You too. And with that, I guess we're going to end it here. And if you guys want to win your fantasy leagues like both of us are going to do, make sure to comment. We're going to help you win your teams. I'm sorry, not your teams, your leagues. We're going to help you win those leagues. Comment down below your Instagrams. We want to have you guys join us in on our podcast. We want to rank everyone in your league, see how things are going, and make sure to keep watching because with the season coming up next Thursday, a week from today, the game will actually be starting literally in a week from that, right?
A week from right now, we will be seeing Pat Mahomes and Deshaun play football. Get excited, everyone. Last thing I will say before Mac wraps us up is that hopefully next week we will have the normal episodes outside the arena back up and running. We're trying to get some guests. It's really hard. Everyone's really busy right now. We've got a lot of guys in the works. It's just figuring out times. So we didn't want to just bring you another episode this week of us just talking sports because we feel like that's kind of our fantasy show now. I mean, that's what we're doing here, and we love it. It's much more chill and a fun vibe compared to the interview vibe, which we love and love talking to these broadcasters and other people in sports. But expect those hopefully to resume within the next week. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right, so this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm definitely going to wrap it up.
Yeah, sorry for blowing it.
Should we tease, because these are our loyal fans. If they're watching right now, they're loyal. Should we tease the potential person we may have on here if I could work things out and figure it out? To our loyal fan.
Your little, we can mention, yeah, you can give them, it's unlikely, probably, but we have a potential connection.
Yeah, my best friend, his cousin, his second cousin is Carl Anthony Towns. So that's our goal. We're trying to get him on here. And tomorrow I'm going to let them know that it's something we're open to. The only problem I've heard from them is he's quiet. He's a quiet guy. He doesn't like to talk much from when they're with him. So we'll have to pull some strings with him. But
we will. It would be a journey, but we also have other broadcasters. I mean, I'll give one, Brian Simeon, Los Angeles Clippers, play-by-play guy. Look for an episode with him in the near future, probably within the next month. I expect to have him on the show. And yeah, get excited, guys. We're gonna power through the school year, even if it has to be at late nights like this. But we're really gonna try and do the best to get content out for you guys. And yeah, the fantasy things are go. We got fantasy experts who will come on eventually, and as we've already said a lot of times, please reach out to us if you want us to rank your fantasy leagues. We'll love to do that. And next time you see us on the fantasy thing, probably the season might have started. So yeah, that's all I got for the last time.
All right. So thank you everyone for watching this week's episode of Outside the Arena with Mac and Griff. We're going to be sure to put out an amazing episode for you guys next week. And make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, as well as follow us on our social medias. On Instagram, mine is at mac.rommel. His is Griff and Mac, with our podcast Instagram, Outside the Arena Podcast. And next week, I guess we're hoping to drag someone outside the arena.